Chafing Armor Podcast, mini episodes, Descent into the Demon Webs, Episode 13, The Kindness of Strangers. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I am your in-between Dungeon Master, Michael Corley, and with me tonight is James. James, tell us who you'll be playing. Oh,
hello. I didn't see you there. My name's James, and I am playing Gan, the spell scale fighter warlock, who's along for the ride to kill a god. Whoop.
And also with us tonight is Lee. Lee, tell us who you will be playing.
G'day everybody, my name is Lee, and I will be playing Corvus Dragonchoked, the in mourning for his lost love that he's never met in his life, were-raven.
Just so. And also with us tonight is Riley. Riley, tell us who you will be playing.
Hello, I'm Riley, and I'm playing Elenora Dawn, the Burning Eldrin Summer Monk.
Fire. And also with us, last but certainly not least, is Dare. Dare, tell us who you will be playing.
Howdy y'all, I'm Dare, and I'm playing Gronk of Gronk.
Wonderful, and you can hear that and more at Chafing Armor on Patreon. Now, when we last left our players, they had made their way into the Underdark. They had fought their way through a dark ritual. They had gotten past a terrifying cleric of Loth, the Spider Queen, to cross over to what they thought was going to be the Demon Webs, only to find themselves in a void, a mist-shrouded void, and a voice greets them, introducing himself as the Traveler. Greetings, travelers. Hail and well met.
Hello.
Gronk is immediately on guard.
Point of order. Absolutely none of us, because the Traveler is very specifically, doesn't really get involved, so really isn't the Pantheon doesn't really include him because he or they don't really care much.
Yep.
At least that's how I kind of envision it. So does anybody here... I would think Gronk might be, but I'd sure as shit know that Corvus doesn't know who the Traveler is.
The Traveler is not well known. Certain groups of people know who he is, obviously his worshippers, but certain travelers, say the Shifter Rangers of Osokai's people know who he is, and certain other groups who are nomadic tend to know who he is, but he is definitely would be considered, you wouldn't say that to his face, a minor god.
I just wanted to make sure that because Corvus does not know. He knows maybe 3 gods, the ones that were kind of, either the party knew them or, they were sort of big in Mascate, but that's about it. Or not Mascate, Racist Town.
I love that you call it Zintel Keep.
That's the one, yeah. They were basically kind of big there, but otherwise he doesn't really know or care about the Pantheon, so I just wanted to make sure that, the rest of the party, where they might have sit with that, because, yeah. I would think Gronk might, but I don't know. Being a cleric, but otherwise, yeah.
So bottom line is, not all of you know who this is. Specifically, Elenora, you don't know who this is because he is almost unknown in the Feywild.
Yep.
But you all can tell that he is very powerful, though, that whether or not you know that he's a god. He sweeps a hand in front of him, and he says, "Please, take your ease here for a moment before you go on your way. You see, my realm is 2 different things. There is an endless plain where all who served me in life endlessly hunt and camp and tell stories and take their ease and battle each other for strength and have strong mead as the sun sets, forever and ever traveling those plains. Some of you may have even met some of my followers. But also, I am the god of the in-between, of the spaces that are not spaces. Like, for instance, the space between the Weaver's Loom and the Demon Webs. You stand on a precipice. You are about to enter one of the most cursed and dangerous realms in all of creation. So, if you need to bind any wounds or write any goodbye letters, now would be a good time.
Are you saying time doesn't pass here? Because we are kind of on a Gaius.
I assure you, I am very aware of your Gaius. Time passes differently here, but it does pass. Well acquainted with your patron, and you all hear in the distance an echoing caw of the raven.
So Gronk, looking around at everybody, stands at ease, and then kneels down and begins to ritually pray and renew himself.
As you do, you notice that the ground becomes slightly more comfortable. You still can't see it, really, but it becomes slightly more comfortable to your knees. And in front of you, a hearty stew appears before you, just in a very thick pot. And there is a huge, deep bowl and a single wooden ladle laying out of it. And it is just steaming with lots of different meats.
Oh, I am not trusting that at first sight. Not a chance.
Of all of you, none of you are more suspicious than you, Elenora, who know better than anyone what eating food from certain people can do.
Yeah, never touch stuff in the Fae, and never touch stuff that just appears out of nowhere, especially in a realm that is formless and lightless. That
Gronk immediately dives in.
Of course.
Scoops out a full bowl and just ignores everybody else and just fills his belly.
Until your next rest, you gain advantage on all Constitution or Fortitude saving throws. It is fortifying, this stew, and it tastes like you as you said, you are not picky, but there are certain meats you've enjoyed better than ever, and it's like someone somehow found like manticore roast and harpy hide and put them all together. Things that no one else would make is made into this stew.
Corvus kind of approaches the stranger and is just like, "That's you, right?"
I'm sorry?
The food, that's you?
It is my doing. Yes, you are all my guests here, and you are in my formless domain. I just doing a bit of a favor to a friend. The Raven Queen and I are acquaintances, and our paths generally align with one another. She does not like it when life and death cross unnaturally, and I am the guardian of the passage between. And so we work together sometimes. I know your quest. I know what you intend to do, and I know how challenging the next part is going to be.
Corvus turns to the rest of the party and says, "It seems weird, and I get it, but I think we can trust this. I think we have to trust this at the moment. So my recommendation would be to eat heartily, as our bottomless pit of a friend here is doing."
The stew refills as you eat, by the way, Gronk.
Wow, so the pot is bottomless and so is Gronk. But yeah, I get the feeling that whatever we need within reason will be fulfilled here. And he turns back to the traveler. He doesn't know this man, but I guess he hasn't really introduced himself, and just says that would be correct in my assumption.
That is correct. You are all under my protection while in my domain. The moment you step out, you will be in the demon webs. There is no going back. Not that you would. But there is one final thing. And he turns and looks not at any of you, but at Zuana. And he says, "My dear, this is not your path." And she looks over. She does look over to you, Gan, like, kind of like, you see her thinking about it, you know? And she's like, "No, it is not. As much as I dislike Loth and what she has done, I am not going to try and kill her. That's insane. But I do wish you all well."
You will help me escape once, and it's your turn to get free.
Mistress Corvus, any tips for what we may, in fact, find ourselves facing when we continue? All of us are well aware that there is no coming back from this. Potentially. If you have a heads up, that would be cool.
Much of what I can tell you is from the stories that I know, which are often the same as what you would, Gan, but beware. Her kingdom is well guarded. There are sisters, things that take the form of women that guard her. Do not trust anything, but I don't think I need to tell you that. Beware of anything that is a web, and if what I have heard is true, you will not be able to find her citadel simply by walking to it, because my understanding is that it moves, so you will need to have some way of tracking it down. I wish you the best.
That sounds like, Gronk speaks up, that sounds like something that a traveler would be able to direct us on.
I wish I could take you into the heart of her citadel so that you could lay the first blow upon her before she knew what hit her. But that is not how this works. I have interceded and given you pause. The moment I let you out of my realm, you will pass through where you were going, which is to the entrance of the demon webs. But I will tell you, everything she has said is not untrue.
But how do we find the citadel? You who are a traveler, you who know the ways, you can tell us how to find the citadel without being coy.
I like this one! And you hear a cackle and a soft feminine voice just rings out with joy. And she says, Zuana is correct, that you must beware of all webs in the demon webs, for each and every one has potential danger. But there is a core thread that runs through all of the demon webs. And that thread, if you can find it, leads to the heart of her citadel.
Cool.
I hope it helps. Until then, feel free to rest. Take your ease. If you are hungry, food will be provided, drink will be given. And then, Zuana, you are not on this quest. And while you will very briefly be in the demon webs and very uncomfortable, I think I can take you elsewhere if you would prefer. And she almost immediately says, yes, I would prefer that. I would very much. There is a inn in Masgate called Grundle's Inn, and I would like to go there, maybe in the cellar, because I seem to have lost my hat. Does anyone else want to do anything or say anything before you take your rest and regain your spells?
Gronk holds the bowl in front of him, nods to the traveler, and slurps down another full bowl.
It is very, very good, and while it provides no extra benefit, it reminds you of the time that you slew a maddened unicorn that was trying to destroy a village, and no one could stop it, but you managed to lance it with your spear, and you ate well that night, and it tastes like that unicorn.
Gan's gonna
Delicious.
Gan's gonna turn to Zuana and say, I don't know what kind of fresh hell we just unleashed with that obsidian bitch in there, but I think you know who you can contact to see if you can deal with that in the future.
There is, as you recall, the Bainwright Manor has entrance to the Underdark in Masgate, or just outside of Masgate, and I will reach out and see what I can find while I'm there. I have a few other contacts that I can also reach out to. It's going to be very bad. Lady Obsidian is not used to being denied, and to have her humiliated in front of that many people. The only thing that may slightly stay her wrath is that everyone else is dead who could have seen her thrown so unceremoniously by you. And she looks over to you, Corvus. And she kind of gives you a look, Corvus, like, do I know you? Whatever. Because, you don't look the same as when she saw you in that vision. She says, thank you, though, Gan. And even though I think you are all completely insane and are all going to die,
agreed,
I do wish you success.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure that the traveler, Corvus, kind of. I'm going to assume that the kobolds were pulled in with us because they came too.
They went through first. Yes, they are.
Yes.
They are all asleep now because they have eaten so much food.
Corvus.
Each one, imagine the equivalent of a pile of Twinkies and Ho-Hos, like the most rich, fattening pastries. And they just kept refilling, so they just kept eating them. And then finally, they've all just completely passed out.
Corvus will reach into Mimi and just kind of intimate that he would like some gems, because he would like to give them to the kobolds, and then ask the traveler to take them where they will be safe, because they cannot come with us. I will not have them come with us.
Very well. I will tell you, as in fairness, there is a chance they will immediately die when you go to the demon webs. But I think I can get them out in time.
Whatever you can manage, I will be grateful for as long as I have life left in me. Which may or may not be very long, but...
Perhaps not. Perhaps
please.
not. There is one final thing as everything is winding down. He turns to Zuana, and he holds out a single sealed envelope, and he hands it to her. And she takes it, and she looks at the name on it, and she immediately tucks it into her armor, and she says nothing else. She becomes very, very quiet. And are y'all ready?
I guess I assume rest.
Are they taking a full rest?
Yeah. You all have now had a full rest. You've regained all your spells, your hit points, your abilities, all back.
On we go, I guess.
Okay.
Hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and hope we don't die.
Do you want me to roll, or do you want to roll, Lee?
Knowing how good my dice have been to me now, and knowing how crap your dice are, that's a hard decision to make. What are we rolling for specifically?
We are rolling whether or not the gnolls die. Kobolds, thank you. It's simply just if you roll a 1.
Okay. It was my call. I'll roll it. I'll take responsibility. Please don't screw me on this. 18.
Excellent. There is a moment where the mist begins to part, and it's like that in movies when there's been a bomb that's gone off and slowly the sound comes back. There's like a rushing sound as reality begins to reassert itself and nothingness, formlessness becomes something, and you are all smacked with a blast of hot air, but so much more than that. Like, some of you have journeyed to volcanoes. You are all seasoned adventurers. It's not just that it's hot. It is that it is hopeless. It is that it is evil. It is that this is a place of torment, of death, and of suffering that is beyond death. You all understand more than many that there are fates worse than death. And being sent to the demon webs is one of them. And as you all suddenly just shudder, as you jitter, it's that feeling of realizing you're like on a suspension bridge. You are all standing on a very dense network of webbing. And it is as thick as rope, as thick around some of them as Gronk's chest, like huge. And then some of them are small and delicate, but they are all interwoven to each other. And yet you feel off balance. You feel like you're about to fall into the infinite nothingness that is below you. And instantly, the three kobolds fall to the ground and begin screaming, just as the heat and everything in their fur begins to singe. And then just as that, they disappear. And you think they'll probably be okay. And somewhere in the distance, a idyllic farm area, a woman is working very hard on a very delicate jewelry setting. And that's when three kobolds fall down on top of her. And
You're evil.
The small child that has been sitting next to her playing with a large ball that is painted delicately with a blue dragon flying through the air, looks up as these three kobolds pick themselves up off of Scald, and they say, so you got anything to eat? And we'll cut away from there. In Grundle's Inn, in the basement, a drow assassin appears. Her body smoking, but not terribly damaged. Immediately, she melts into the shadows as one of the serving women come downstairs, and she sneaks past them out into the night and heading towards Bainwright Map. But back to y'all and all of your fun.
Great. So three dragon worshipping kobolds just fell into the house of the scion of Bahamut. That's awesome.
Yep.
Sounds like someone's got some new servants. Couldn't think of a better place for them.
Yeah. Well, apparently so did the Traveler. Thank you. One more thing as Zuana makes her way safely into the forest where Tix once found a transmuted person changed into a tree. She pauses and pulls out a envelope, and the envelope simply says, Osokai. And she opens the letter and reads it, and if she begins to cry, no one is there to hear it.
If a drow cries in a forest, is there anyone there to hear it?
Exactly. Speaking of crying, you hear the sound of wailing and screams, and just there's like a distant din of discomfort coming from this place. But that's when you hear a voice that you heard when this thing first opened, a creaky voice saying, "Help me. Please, someone help me."
Gan immediately starts hovering and not touching any webs.
Whoop. Just right off that, and, not a bad idea. The gravity is different here. It's slightly heavier. It's almost like not the gravity. It's almost like the density of the air. It's hard to breathe here. But it's not like the heat of a volcano. It's like the heat of a room that's been shut for too long, and there's a baking sun outside. It's just so stuffy and unpleasant.
So Australia, cool. I should be fine.
Yeah. Immediately, someone walks up and goes, "Good day, mate."
Not
that's how people in Australia
not wearing any shoes at all. It's just this.
No shoes.
Soles of
None.
their feet smoking. You call this hot? Can we assume that
Yes.
We are being protected from the bulk of this by the Gaius?
That is precisely right, and that is why both the kobolds and Zuana began to smoke the second they came in here. The worst of this is being fended off by your Gaius, by your choice to make this pact. It is literally, constantly protecting you from the effects of Lolth. This is her domain, and this is literally just her hurting you. But you are being protected. You are 100% correct. Very, very, very good. Appreciate you glocking that.
Just wanted to make sure that we were all fairly aware that what we are feeling now is nowhere near what we could be feeling.
Yes. Well reasoned.
Also, I have to assume that these webs are not the same as the web spell.
They are not. I should say they're not sticky, but they're not like restraining sticky. They're tacky, but they are not like the web spell. You are 100% correct.
Well, I just wanted to make sure because part of my particularly unique aspect is that web does not affect my movement.
Well,
and I have innate spider climb.
Definitely good to know for the future. Here's my question: do you want to investigate or find anything else about that sound, or do you want to go elsewhere?
We are not to trust anything. That sound means nothing to us. We have one job. We need to go and do it. As far as I'm concerned.
I kind of assume it's a trap anyway.
Everything here is likely a trap, yeah. But like personally, for Corvus, we have one job. Everything else is to be ignored.
Gronk turns to the others and says, "Hold," and begins to ritually cast Find the Path.
Oh, I love this.
Taking the knowledge of that there is a main thread that leads to the center of the citadel, Gronk casts the spell Find the Path that will, with the guidance of St. Cuthbert and Grumsh, will lead them to direct physical route to a specified destination.
As the spell ends, you raise up your hand. By the way, you can even tell, this is completely flavor text, just so you know, you can even tell that your gods, there's like static coming through here because you are in another god's domain that is directly opposed to both of them. Even Grumsh, who has been aligned with Lolth, is not aligned with her in any other way. And so you feel that resistance, but then you put your hand on the ground and you see, no one else sees, that this, one of the big, thick webbings that's as big around as you, just boom. There's like a resonant hum. It's, you know this sound? This is the sound if you take your spear and you bang the metal part against something else that's metal. It makes that resonant hum. And the path is revealed before you. It literally glows red. To you. No one else can see this. And you know that this is the right way. But here's the thing, guys. It's also the way from where you were hearing the crying. So, just FYI.
Well, there you go. I guess we'll accidentally investigate anyway.
Corvus calls for a quick powwow and asks if everyone still remembers the word he gave them.
And what is that word?
Crucially important.
Elastraya.
That's right.
That's enough. That's all I need to know. It's crucially important you remember that, and when you hear me shout it as well. It's important. I don't want to tell... Corvus doesn't want to tell the characters because, especially now, has never wanted to tell them exactly what the reason is because he doesn't know who's listening. And if anybody heard it, they could prepare for it. That's not the point of this. There's a reason why I haven't told anybody. It is crucially important you remember that word and shout it when I do. That's really all you need to know.
Perfect.
Okay.
And just real quick, what is your marching order?
Since Gronk can see the path and cast a spell, he probably should be going first.
Okay.
Find the path also eliminates any traps that are on that specific path.
Interesting.
Nice.
I'll keep that in mind. How long have you...
Sorry, just wanted to... Because we were told that there was one specific thread that would lead us directly to the heart of the Citadel. I assume Find the Path is traveling that thread and also indicating the direction we should go to find that thread?
Yes, well, in this particular case, it seems to be, as he's describing it to you, it seems to literally be showing you which is that thread.
Yeah, I just wanted to, because that way, once we know, if Gronk can make sure that we know which thread it is, so that we're all aware of where we're going in case we get split up by anything. This is the Abyss, after all.
Though, again,
communication would be really helpful.
None of the rest of you can see the red, but you can both... You can see the thread, obviously. He's pointed it out to you. So as long as you don't lose track of it, you'll be able to find it again.
Does everybody have rope?
I'm going to say everybody's got rope.
Yeah.
I would be shocked if level 15 adventurers didn't have rope.
Would you? Because I don't. I'm kidding.
If anyone thinks they wouldn't, let me know.
I have rope. I'm just assuming that we could. Oh wait, no. It's okay. I just realised that's not going to work because this is webs, not a singular path. We can't really tie anything to it and stay connected to it.
Leave a trail of breadcrumbs, as it were.
Yeah, it ain't
exactly.
It's not a zip line.
Yeah, exactly. That's not how that works. I'm just thinking of ways we could ensure that we would never leave it or have some way of being able to stay attached to it. Because I don't know how long Gronk's spell lasts for, or if Gronk will get separated and we just get lost. I'm just trying to account for as many opportunities as we can to stay the course. Because this place
spell
will definitely
lasts
not
until I
want
reach
us
the
here.
destination.
Wow.
Oh,
that's a
okay.
long
Well,
time.
that's it then. Never mind. Just don't lose sight of Gronk then. Tie off to Gronk. All right, we'll be following Gronk then.
All right,
really
bro.
nothing else we can do.
I take that back. It's an hour per level.
I was gonna say that seemed weird.
15 hours.
But-
Cool. It shouldn't take us that long. Hopefully.
Hopefully not. Though it is also another plane of existence, so who knows? Okay, so Gronk is taking the lead. You are walking. As you do, you can see there are many features to this place. It is not like before, an endless void. There are mountains in the distance. There are pits. There are steam coming out of holes in the web. In some places, you think maybe you've seen even like creatures, scurrying this way and that. So just so you know, this isn't just like a giant web and there's nothing else there. This is just like any other place except that the ground seems to be entirely be made of webs and you can see through it. As far as you can tell, it falls down into nothingness. There is a blasting, unpleasant heat that is generally radiating up from below. Speaking of which, as you walk forward, one of those rips in the webbing become apparent up ahead. There is a large tear in the webbing, and something is partially sticking out of the webbing.
If it's in the way, we have to pass it. So, yeah.
Gronk, since you're in the lead, give me a spot check.
Okay.
It's Baba Yaga.
Spot check, that is a 19.
Haley,
Are you kidding me?
it's about the size of a house. And one weakly jerking leg. A chicken leg, much larger than Audrey 3, is twitching.
I was kidding. What are you doing, sir? I hate you.
I have been planning this for months, and it was so funny that you said that. But there, as soon as I described it, y'all know what it is. That's why I'm not trying to hide. But here's the thing: this house is not okay. This is not just a house on its side. This is a house that is badly broken. So, like, if you picked up a house, if you were, say, a giant, and threw it on the ground, that's what this house looks like. It is broken, it is splintered, it is warped. You can't see the other chicken leg. You don't even know if it's there. And the one that is up is broken in several places. There is actual bone sticking out
Were you
near the
thinking
foot.
the same thing, Riley?
That is when you again, all of you hear the sound. Help me. Please, won't someone help me?
Gronk says, we don't have time for this. They're either strong enough to get themselves out, or they're not. The strongest have a duty to do. That is us. It is time to go.
Just so you know, obviously this area, the demon webs, is vast. The crashed house falls directly in the middle of the path, but you can, because of your spell, Gronk, you can see where it picks up past it. So, you don't have to walk up to this house.
So we can either choose a different way around, go through the house, go over the house, or that's basically it.
Yep.
We can take
You do
longer to
any-
go around, or we can go through or around.
It will take longer to go around. It is unlikely that you would lose the path because Gronk and his very inventive spell. But, you will be taken away from the path if you go around. Just FYI.
How rude would this Gaius be if we if we defer from the path that much? I would hope it wouldn't be that critical, but who knows?
You don't know. This
Exactly.
is new territory. Everything here is strange.
Because once we know what the path is like and it goes directly through, I don't know. For his
No,
part,
though.
Corvus is very quiet about what this house is and who the old voice is, because he's got a strange feeling he might be partly responsible.
So, there is one person here who definitely knows who this is because he met her. Mm-hmm. But there is one other person who absolutely knows who this is instantly. Baba Yaga is an arch-fae.
Oh.
Elenora, you immediately know who this is. Now, it would not be quite right to say that Baba Yaga is revered. She's not like the way you revered your queen, but
Respected like Darth Vader is respected.
yeah, that's a great way to put it. She's like Darth Vader, but slightly less ominous towards you. Like you, not that you would walk up and shake Baba Yaga's hand necessarily, but there's a tremendous amount of respect for an archfey. I'm just letting you know, Riley. I'm not telling you what to do. but you know who this is, and you know how powerful she is.
Have time.
You were literally raised on stories about Baba Yaga and the things that she has done, and often done to people who annoyed her.
Then again,
All right,
the straightest line to a goal is, straight through instead of going around.
Yeah, I would say we go straight through, but Corvus has absolutely zero inclination towards.
And we should be very careful. She was very powerful. Whatever did this, we must watch.
And while I definitely told you, the players, as part of the flavor at the end of the first season of Chafing Armor, that it was the fact that the feather was not real that caused her spell to fail, Lee, your character does not know that. Now he does, but he does know.
He's got an idea. Yeah.
Yeah, he does know that he gave her a false object. He's aware of that, obviously, and he doesn't know if the two are related or not.
You can only put two and two together and say that she's here now, calling for help, and the last time he saw her, he gave her a fake feather.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm definitely not saying, like, oh, no, you need to go up and say, hey, I'm sure everything's great.
Yeah, no.
Of course, it looked a lot different at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Corvus just knows he pulled a fast one on her, and if this is the cause of it, he has absolutely no intention of saying hello. That is just not going to happen.
Gotcha.
He wants nothing to do with this.
Bottom line is, what would you like to do?
Corvus insists on just leaving her. If she's that powerful, she can get out.
Gronk is in complete agreement and is already walking around the hut.
Or through or above, because if we're going around... Oh, you mean not taking a detour? Never mind.
Please clarify. I wasn't quite clear.
Yeah, me either.
Well, if the house is directly on the path, sideways.
It is. Okay.
So he's just going to skirt around the underside of the house, around the feet, and past them back towards the thread that is highlighted by his spell.
Okay.
And just ignores it.
Okay.
Corvus follows with a guilty step.
So you all, there's no like attack. It is simply a choice as you make your way around. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Gan's gonna go straight through, but like over.
Okay.
Like hovering across and over, just to get a view of what's going on in there.
Give me a spot check.
Oh. Even this character's not with those, but here we go.
Baba Yaga is hanging on to her hut's version of the skull that sucks people's souls out.
14.
14? Well, this does not require, like, there are details I would have given you if you'd rolled higher, but this does not require a high roll. Just needed a not a terrible roll. As you fly over, you do see Baba Yaga, because y'all couldn't see her before. You saw the house, and you heard the calling. She is not trapped in the house. She is fused with the house.
Oh.
So and you understand, like, whatever magic happened here was very powerful and very bad to have caused this. Because even you know that, like, if you teleport into a solid object, it will force you out. It is very painful and may kill you, but it will force you out. The fact that she is fused with the house, with, like, part of her face embedded in the wall, and there's, like, splinters coming out of her skin, and she is just, it is very bad, and her mouth is mostly out, and you see like one eye come up a little bit as you go over, and a hand, an ancient withered hand reaches up and goes, "Please help me."
This is really
As you fly
Silent Hill
over.
of you, sir. You've gone really Cronenbergian here.
Guys, you have just danced between the raindrops of all the things that I had planned for you, but there's comes a point. Anyway, and then there is one more call to you, Elenora. Not really in your head, but just kind of almost in your head. You hear, daughter of the endless summer, come help your grandmother. I'm just slap done up. Just help me on my way.
It's not worth it.
We should get going. And this is the moment where the only time you will ever see Elenora slightly haggard. And you see her kind of like stress. Let's move quickly.
Understood.
Wow. Well played. That for her character, that could not have been easy. Props.
Nope.
Absolute props.
But the choice was always yours, and you all walk around. By the way, nothing happens to you. This is not that kind of trap. She really is trapped here because of the circumstances of the spell going wrong.
Sucks to be you, Granny. Bye.
And she cannot get you, and you make your way deeper into the demon webs with the old woman's voice calling softly behind you. And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor episode 13. Great job, everybody.
Yay.
That was interesting.
Not
very
everything not everything is about punching things really hard. Sometimes it's, do you help an old woman who's way more than an old woman?
Just for my own edification as well, was she trying to become the Hutt to live forever?
No. She had an entirely different. This is literally this is the effects of a spell going horribly wrong.
We figured that. I was just wondering what the point of that spell was that ended up with her being fused to her heart.
I will not tell you what the point of the spell was. As Tix very perfectly said, he wanted things that were God. She wanted things that were God touched. So the purpose of the spell was very ambitious. However, it failed, and she is now trapped.
Well, to be fair, if there's one thing we don't want becoming a god, it's Baba Yaga.
You probably don't want her as a god. That's true, and it's entirely reasonable that may have been what she was planning. So, so that you can become gods in our eyes, you can become a Patreon subscriber to Chafing Armor. Dare, how do they do that?
Well, everyone, we would love for you to come join us at patreon.com/Chafing Armor, where we have a whole bunch of extra content for you. Our illustrious Dungeon Master has done some great cosplay, and you can find that on YouTube and all sorts of social media sites, but especially on Chafing Armor. And we continue to give you more and better content on our Patreon site, where you can be part of this great community that we're building, where everybody comes together to scratch the itch of role-playing that you are craving.
100%. And as much as we have there right now as Dare, who is working on a novel of the first season, we are going to have more. So please go over and check it out. We really appreciate it. Great job, everyone.
That was interesting. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I feel slightly
love
guilty.
your choices. You should, but it's also not a wrong choice. So
Gronk feels absolutely no guilt.
Yep, that
Gronk is
well
still
within his
digesting the
character.
16 fluid tons of food he ate back at the Traveler's Realm, so he's fine.
No, Gronk has a belief that you should be strong to survive. Right?
So does Elenora, apparently.
The only exception to that are people that are taken away into slavery and their choice is taken away.
Absolutely. And Lolth has a lot to do with that because she allows it in her kingdom. So thank you all for playing. And until we see you again, we will roll with you soon.